Hi, this is Paul Sanneman. I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source, which actually is the world's largest company at finding employees for contractors. And I have a podcast called Business Success Tips, where we help people make more money in less time and have more fun. I just want to specialize on the have more fun part. I'm lucky today. I have Adam Cooper, who's actually the founder, the guy for Ascent Consulting. And he's going to tell you all the how to make more money in less time and have more fun. Right, Adam?
I'll do my best.
Okay, so yeah, look to get a little background, what you do, why they should listen to you, why you're a smart guy.
Sure, thanks. So I'm a former contractor. I started out as an electrician after college, worked my way up through the ranks, had my own electrical contracting business for a number of years, went to work for big national companies. And then about 10 years ago in 2014, I founded Ascent Consulting as a way to give back to the small to mid-sized construction industry, teach them all the tips and tricks I learned working at big national contractors, as well as things I did to be successful in my own business. So for the last 10 years, I've been helping contractors all over the United States and now Canada, and now have a team of about 20 people. We do all sorts of different projects for contractors to help them increase profits, grow their business, have more fun, have more free time available for the things that they have outside of work in their life. And it's a pleasure to be on the show today. Thanks.
Okay, so Adam, people have successfully franchised a lot of things, right? But somehow nobody has really ever successfully at any kind of scale franchise remodeling, right? You notice that? And home
It's
building,
interesting.
you can get to large home builders, that works, right? But
Mhm.
you've been in the franchise world and you've worked for remodels. Why don't you think that's ever happened? What keeps the remodel? Is it fractionalized? What keeps it from being franchisable?
That's a great question, Paul. I'd never really thought about it from a franchise model. There are some companies that do a piece of remodeling and they're a franchise model.
Right.
I actually recently had a closets by design system put into my house. I bought a
Okay.
new townhouse or bought a townhouse recently, and I wanted built-in closet systems in my master
Right.
and my pantry. And that's a franchise model. They operate in multiple cities. Each one operates as an entity,
Right.
but they have a common marketing platform, a common
Right.
website, common advertising. But as far as whole home remodels, that's a great question. I think some of it probably has to do with the entrepreneurial spirit of a lot of these contractors. They don't want to franchise it out. And I think a lot of it has to do with you have to create a pretty complicated, intricate
Mhm.
system to create a franchise. You think about a Burger King, there's
Right.
distribution
Well, I mean,
chain,
Alaire
supply
has
chain.
tried it and they may have 120, right? But nobody's
uh,
ever done big time with it, you know? And I
Nationally, right?
Nash, and I think it's because of the nature of that industry, right? But there's a lot of consultants like yourself, right? Which are supplying those franchise kind of systems
Mhm.
to remodeling contractors so they can scale. So you've been in both worlds. Um, what kind of systems do the contractors need to have, remodeling contractors, you work with these guys, to get them so they're not a slave to time and they're making a decent money and they're just, they're not like overwhelmed all the time.
Wow, multifaceted question. As an owner, what you need to have is systems to do everything that you do as an owner so that you can stop doing them. You have to be able
Okay.
to design a system so that you can hire somebody and delegate that system to them to operate, such as accounting, sales, estimating, project management. You have to have systems for all these things. You have to at least have a methodology for doing that, how to set up a budget, how to buy out a job, how to schedule resources. And you need people that can run those systems. That frees the owner up from the day-to-day grind of finding work,
Right.
winning work, and performing work.
Right. Now, when you look at those systems, I mean, I've drugged contractors through technology for 50 years. I'm going to look at it right. I mean, I started with they don't want to use cell phones because it's going to mess up their peace of mind in the truck, right? And so we've gone through, email was a fad. Nobody needs a website, and we over now the latest one like project management systems. Finally, Builder Trend and Co-Construct and Job Trend have actually made that viable to most. But some contractors don't even use those, which is amazing to me. And so now the latest one is AI, and they're now dragging through AI, going, who needs Chat GPT? And it's interesting. So you've worked with a lot of contractors. what advice do you have for contractors on what systems they should have? Be specific if you can. For is accounting? I mean, is it QuickBooks? Is it JobTread? Is it, Procore? What systems do you use, and how do you get them to work for you?
Got it. Well, for residential contractors, what I would say is typically, not all the time, but typically, Procore is not a great fit. Procore is a beast of a program. It's designed with the commercial contractor in mind. It's not very residential consumer, homeowner friendly.
Right.
It's an internal type of system. It's made for big commercial and industrial contractors. We typically recommend something more like Buildertrend, and Co-Construct bought Buildertrend, I think, last year.
Or Builder
So they're
Trim
the
bought
same
Co-Construct.
company.
Yeah, same thing.
Builder
Right.
Trend bought Co-Construct.
Right.
So Buildertrend we find to be a very good, reasonably priced technology solution for residential builders.
Right.
As far as accounting systems, the old standby of QuickBooks works very well. It talks to Buildertrend. You can have integrated financials
Mhm.
and reporting. If you're an advanced builder and you need more detail, more reporting, there's a couple of softwares out there that we really like. Foundation is a really good one.
Okay.
It has integrated payroll. If you buy their payroll for construction module, they're a US-based company out of Ohio, I believe. And they've been around a long time, so they have a lot of longevity. Other systems, such as Sage, Viewpoint, those systems are really designed for more enterprise level customers, bigger
Mhm.
customers. Sage 100 is an old workhorse, used to be called
Right.
Master Builder until Sage
I knew
bought
the
them.
guy that actually wrote Master Builder, swear to God, way back in
Wow.
Santa Rosa. I'm an old guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I remember when it was Master Builder 20 years ago, and it's
Right.
still around. It's still a workhorse of a program, and it really works, but it's really good for those small to mid-sized commercial builders.
Okay.
On the commercial side, there's a lot of choices now. Aside from Sage 100, there's Acumatica. Foundation, again, is a great choice for commercial builders. It really depends on what kind of work you do and who your clients are. That can really dictate which is the best system for you. There's nothing wrong with QuickBooks, but I would say by the time you're in the 10 to 20 million range, you're probably outgrowing it, and it's probably not supporting you or not doing you any favors. It's
Okay.
probably hindering you on the reporting side a little bit.
Now, as a coach, my problem was always not knowing what to do, but was getting people to do what they know. I mean, it's sort of like, your gym membership is not going to make you in good shape, right? So I always had a problem in implementation. Have you had that same problem, and how have you solved it?
There's always going to be people who resist change. When we work with clients, we spend a lot of time up front in discovery, learning not just about the company, but about the people. We have to learn who's going to be an early adopter, who's going to be a champion, who's going to be a cheerleader. We ask ownership to get involved to help pull the projects forward, drive
Mhm.
change from the inside. The old adage my mom used to say is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Same kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, if we can show your employees a better way of doing things, and the why behind it's a better way of doing
Mhm.
things, and show them that it'll make their life easier or give them better visibility into things, help them make more money, tie that to a bonus program, perhaps. We
Right.
do a lot of work on bonus programs. These are great ways to motivate. Uh, One of the things I like to tell clients ownership usually is you have carrots and you have sticks, and
Right.
you can't be afraid to use both. You got to be able
Okay.
to give them rewards for doing exactly what you need them to do and doing it well. And there also have to be consequences if they're not getting with the program or not doing the things you need them to do. And
So,
and those can be minor, those can be major
well, tell
consequences.
me some of the carrots and sticks you may set up for a project manager of a small remodeling company.
Sure. So, there's certain things you need, say, your project managers to do on a remodeling job that make the job successful. And it's not all about the money, but it ties to money a lot of times. So if they buy out the job well, like they hire all the subs up front and get and buy them out and lock them in at prices that were used in the estimate. If they're conscientious about buying materials and not overbuying, staying within budget, and then making sure that those materials are protected on the job site, nothing gets damaged, they're installed in a timely fashion. Subcontractors are held to a schedule and they get the work done as they're supposed to, so the homeowner isn't delayed in getting their home back to them. Um, You could talk about a little bit about safety. We could talk about inspections and passing inspections on time. All those things can be measured. And then you can reward project managers for hitting those marks. And the reward maybe is something as simple as maybe a 1%, 2%, 3% profit share on the job. If the job was bid at 30% and it makes 30% and they check those boxes to help make sure the job came in at 30%, share the profits with them. Let's say they only bring it at 25, maybe they don't get as big of a profit share, or they get less of a profit share. There's less profit, less share.
Can you give a specific example of something you set up for a company that you've worked with that actually worked?
Oh, sure. We've done lots of those. I mean, top of my head, some of that would be a little proprietary for some of the things that
we can
built.
just company A. You don't give me the company. Company
Sure.
A and John Doe. That's fine.
Sure. Company A and John Doe. So the one we set up recently was for a masonry contractor up in Indiana, and he had certain things he wanted his people to do on these masonry jobs that made the job perform well. One was profit. Two was managing materials, buying it out and then managing it. So they didn't buy extra block, didn't buy extra bags of mortar. They were budget conscious when they bought the materials. And they did self-perform, and they had subcontractors for some of the work. So buy the subcontractor for the price that was estimated, and then for their own labor forces, manage that time, keep them working efficiently, and make sure they didn't go over on hours. And if they hit all those 4 marks or 5 marks, they got like a 5% profit share. So the job was bid at $500,000 with a 20% margin. That is $100,000 of profit. And if they hit all their marks, they got a 5% profit share. The project manager got a 5% bonus, $5,000.
Right. Okay.
$5,000. That would be a quick example of one that we just did recently.
That's the carrot. Let's hear about the stick.
Well, the stick is that it was like a points system. So to earn the 5%, you had to hit your marks in all of the 5 areas. Each one of those areas earned you 1% of the 5% profit share. So if you only hit the marks in 3 of those 5 areas, you only got a 3% profit share. If you had a catastrophic failure on the job, like it didn't make money, like you lost money or came in at 10% instead of 25%, let's say, or 20%, no bonus. There was a all or nothing at that point. If you didn't hit certain marks, you got nothing. And then if you continued to have failures, like let's say you had damaged equipment, like let's say you had scaffolding that got damaged, or you rented a piece of machinery and it got damaged, or you broke the historical lift on the job site, that was taken out of the profit share. So you weren't watching the equipment, it got damaged, $5,000 bonus minus $2,000 for repairs to the machinery, $3,000 is what's left.
Now, what percentage of compensation do you think should be bonus?
I think in this day and age, with the current job market and the current labor shortage that we're still experiencing of hundreds of thousands of jobs nationally in the construction industry, I don't think that compensation should include the bonus. I think bonus should be on top of compensation. If you want to be competitive and hire good people that are going to stay with you, you need to at least have their base be something reasonable, fair market value, and then you add bonus on top of that to incentivize them to outperform base expectations.
So the base salary is whatever's current wage for that position in that market.
Correct.
And then anything and bonuses are on top of that.
That's correct.
Now, do you have any suggested key performance indicators for like a project manager that you use?
Some of the ones we just talked about. So we talked about profit and budget management and labor management. We talk about having paperwork done, timely fashion. If you're a commercial contractor, getting all your submittals in on time, making sure your red lines are done at the end of the job, submitting RFIs and managing the RFI process. If you're a general contractor, making sure that you are communicating with your client regularly, your OAC meetings are going well, your homeowner meetings are documented. Managing the budget, providing job site daily reports, updating the photo log on the job, taking progress pictures, all those things can be incentivized and measured.
So if you develop key performance indicators, how often should you go over, let's take a project manager of a remodeling company that's doing 3 million. Should you do once a month, once a year, once a week? I mean, how often should you review those and reward or not reward for those factors?
Typically, we would be saying you need to be at least looking at every job and every project manager once a month.
Okay.
The reward usually doesn't get paid out till the job is over. We don't know how the job's going to do till it's done. Even with a great forecasting model, if you're tracking it month over month, you'll be able to spot problems earlier on, we hope. You'll be
Mhm.
able to help the project manager adjust and correct for anything that's going sideways on the job. Um,
Mhm.
but the actual bonus is figured at the end of the job when everything is said and done. The homeowners got their keys and they're happy. You know, a happy customer is always a great indicator of success for a project manager. You don't want them to do everything right and piss off the customer the whole way
Right.
through. So maintaining that relationship is crucial to a successful job, we find, because especially in the home remodeling business, referrals are a great source of business. And if
Right.
your customers don't like you, you're not getting any referrals. So make sure
Right.
your project managers know how to smile and talk nicely to their customers, even when they're giving them big change orders.
Okay. Now, question. What do you think? You think you should like hold this stuff for once a year and to help retention? Like they get all these bonuses, but they don't get them at the big end of the year bonus, or you should pay them monthly or quarterly? How often?
Uh, it depends by contractor type, but bless you. A lot of times we say, a home remodel project could be 3 months, it could be 12 months, it could be longer if
Right.
it's a whole home remodel.
Right.
So usually the project managers are managing more than one project. We like them to get bonused at the end of each project. If these projects are all long duration, like whole home remodels, an end of year bonus would also be appropriate. That would be more of a discretionary bonus based on
Mhm.
measured performance to date through the year. If they've been doing the right things and the job isn't done yet, you give them discretionary at the end of the year. We typically like to give out and recommend giving out holiday bonuses, end of year bonuses, annual reviews, performance reviews. We typically recommend doing those. The way we actually split it up at our company, if you were hired in Q1 or Q2, your review is in Q3. If you were hired in Q3 or Q4, your review is in Q1. That way, they're 6 months apart for us to manage. We only have to do
Right.
about half the staff each half of the year. Everybody's getting an annual review. It's based on their hire date, so they never go more than a year from their hire date without getting a review and some look at their compensation package and adjustments accordingly. And then bonuses are paid out as jobs are finished. There's an end of year bonus, which is a thank you for all the hard work this year. On top of the earned bonuses, that's a mixture of systems and processes there. In this day and age, it costs you so much to replace a great employee. I hate to think you lost them because you didn't give them a Christmas bonus.
Yep. Now, next question. How often, what do you think a profit level should be? Let's say this goes over the map, but let's say you're a remodeling contractor doing 3 million, right?
uh,
Um, the two numbers that seem to get really weird with contractors is one, what's a marketing budget? What's the profit? And I've heard everything from, 2% to 15% for marketing budget. I've heard everything from, 5% to 15% for net profit budget. I'd like to hear your opinion.
Residential contractors in the remodel business, we
Yeah,
typically see gross profit. So that's just sales minus cost of goods sold.
right.
Gross profit somewhere between 30 and 40%.
Okay.
We typically see nets, a good healthy net bottom line, 5 to 10%.
Okay.
So you're
That's
doing a
after the
million
employer's
dollars,
reasonable salary, right?
that's a reasonable salary. That's not counting like distributions and things. That is actual
Right.
P&L numbers. So you have $1 million in sales, you should have about $300,000 in gross profit. That's about 30%. By the time you're done, you should have spent 200 to 250,000 of that and have about 5% net left. That's taxable income. The
Mhm.
rest of that 250 was spent on SG&A, sales, goods, and administrative. That would include marketing. Good rule of thumb for marketing for small companies: 10% of gross. So if you're doing a million, you should have about 100,000 earmarked for marketing if you want to grow your business. If you're trying to just keep your business plateaued at where it's at, 5%. So be spending 50,000 on marketing. Now, marketing could be everything from website, Google ads, Facebook ads, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever you're doing
Now,
for social media. It could also be the cost that you're paying an agency to do your marketing for you.
but would you count that, like, say the owner who's being paid, pick a number, 150,000 a year, he spends 50% of his time marketing. Does that go into the marketing budget or not?
That would depend, but I would, if he's spending 50% of his time doing marketing, he should probably think about hiring somebody to do his marketing, because that's a waste of time for an owner.
Right, that's true.
Most owners are not that good at marketing. They're much better at sales, and they don't understand all the things that work. Marketing is a full-time job. We have a marketing division here where we have a full-time marketing staff that does third-party marketing for, we currently have 3 residential contractors, 1 in California and 2 in New York, that we're doing full marketing campaigns and agency work for. And it's a full-time job. I need a person for every account to manage all that marketing work.
Okay, good numbers. So this is the sort of airport question. You're in an airport, all right, and you meet a guy, it could be a girl, that's a guy, and he has a $3 million construction company, right? And he's complaining, I did 3 million, I made maybe 50,000, like I was better off when I was becoming when I was a framer or whatever, complaining about making not enough money, not having any time. And so
I lost sound.
I somehow lost the sound.
There we go. Got it.
Okay.
I got you back. Okay. I heard I'm in a report. He said he's doing 3 million and he made about 50,000.
Right. So the question he's complaining about is a typical contractor guy, right? Like, it's way too much work. You're this big time, high paid consultant guy. So I'm not paying you for this. I'm just want your advice for the last 10 minutes. What would you tell that guy on how to improve his company? What should he really look for? What are the basics of running a good construction company that he should or should not do?
So this is a residential contractor doing 3 million, not making anyway. Okay.
Right.
Well, the first thing I would ask him is to just tell me about his business. How many people does he have working there? What geography is he in? Like, does he work in California where wages are higher? Or is he a Midwest kind of guy where people are a little more median income? I would ask, what does he spend his money on? What does the company spend all its money on? Is it being spent on marketing? Is it being spent on project management? Is it being spent covering costs because of cost overruns? What does the average project look like? What is the contract value? What is he estimated at for gross profit? And what does it actually finish at when it's done? Does he have a project management problem? Does he have a labor performance problem? Does he self-perform? Does he hire out subs? He's more of a construction manager. So I need to understand more about his business before I knew.
No, I got a half hour
and started diagnosing.
Gotcha. So what are the typical things, when you come into a company, what are the typical problems that you solve that you think most contractors have? Is it the numbers? Is it labor? Is it the vision? What are the biggies?
Yeah, I would say the biggies that we solve for contractors that self-perform work, labor is your biggest risk. And that's usually where they're losing the most money because they're not effectively managing their labor. And that could be a variety of factors. They don't have the materials there. They don't have anybody providing oversight. Nobody is pushing them, or they have quality issues and they're having to go back and redo work, or there's bad communication between the office and the field. And so the office gets plan revisions, but they don't get to the field. So it gets installed the way it was originally designed. And now they have to go back and rip it out and put it back. Or they just don't have good communication with their client. They're not helping their client make decisions. So clients don't pick their cabinet package and then things get ordered late. They get delivered late. There's delays to the project. Labor is typically a symptom of a problem, not the problem. The labor numbers are over, but the labor numbers are over because of some other underlying root cause. So getting in and trying to figure out root cause analysis on why their labor numbers are going over budget is a big area that we focus in. Once they have the labor figured out, then we can start looking at the other areas. Do they subcontract or self-perform? How are they buying out their subcontractors? Are they scoping them properly? A lot of times we find that they don't scope their subcontractors properly, and there's big gaps. Like the electrician's not doing it, and the HVAC guy isn't doing it, and there's all this stuff that isn't connected. Like they put a package unit in, and nobody's wiring it up. There's nobody motorizing the dampers. Nobody picked it up. So scope gaps in buying out subs. It could be that they're not managing their cash flow very well. That's another big problem we encounter, is that they don't have a good way of forecasting their cash flow, and they're always borrowing from their line of credit to make payroll, or borrowing to pay their vendors, or they're late paying their vendors and they're paying late fees. Their credit's getting crunched. They can't get bonded. These are all the problems that come from not accurately and properly managing cash flow. So teaching them how to manage their cash flow is another big area that we solve. And then the third area I would say that we come across a lot is technology and accounting systems. They're running the business off of spreadsheets and email and notebooks, and they don't have a good project management software like Buildertrend or CoConstruct or even Procore, their commercial builder. And so everybody's doing it their own way on their own little spreadsheets. Everything's siloed. The owner can't get visibility into their projects without pulling people into the office and sitting them down, and it takes hours to go through. So coming up with some type of a technology solution that standardizes the way that they run their projects can really help solve profitability issues.
So your feeling is that, and Adam, that they should have a dashboard, right? That they can look at weekly, so they will know specifically how their company's doing. Like, you can't fly an airplane without an instrument, right? Same kind of thing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, and they need a dashboard for the projects as well as the company. So looking at project cash flow, looking at project progress, looking at hours spent versus budget, labor progress, all that stuff at the project level, rolling that up into cash flow forecasting for the company. When are we going to get paid? How much on each job by month? How much cash are we going to spend on payroll, overhead expenses by month? So they can see if they're going to be over or under cash flow wise for the month. Helps them forecast out. They should be able to project their cash flow 3 to 4 months out, 90 to 120 days. If they cannot project cash flow in 90 days, there's an opportunity there to get better.
Okay. And then how often should they look at these numbers? Weekly, daily, monthly? How often?
At first, they should probably be looking at them daily, maybe a couple of times a week. Once things are stabilized and they've got a good sense of it, at least no less than once a week.
Okay. For all the projects. Cool. All right. So Adam, let's say somebody wants to get in touch with you, that this makes sense to them. How would they reach your company? Who should they call? And do they get like a discovery call? How does that all work?
Sure. So we offer free consultations over the phone or on Zoom. You can go to our website, ascentconsults.com, ASCENT consults.com. And there's a free performance button, free consultation call, red button all over the website. Book yourself in and set up a call with one of either myself or one of our consultants. It's like a round robin. You'll get whoever's available at the time that you want to meet. Okay. Those are free consultation calls. Sometimes we can solve your low-hanging fruit problems right over the phone. Other times it's an opportunity to go deeper into discussing what's going on at your business, and those are always free. And then our office number, we're based in Atlanta, but we work all over the country. You can call our office at 404-566-5855 and just ask to speak to one of the consultants. Say you heard about me and our business on the Business Success Tips podcast, and they'll put you through to one of our consultants.
Great. Well, thank you, Adam. It was very informative. Now, if you're smart, you'll give him a call, because there's some really great free advice, guys. So come on, you at least should take advantage of that. Okay. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you being here.
It was a pleasure, Paul. Great to connect with you again. And thanks for having me on.
Have a good one. Thank you.